G'day people, time for another recipe. This one is one that I created, one of my all-time favourites. Cheap, very filling, very tasty. Other people have probably invented this before me, but I invented it. I know that in France they do something vaguely similar, but I don't know that it's the same thing. But anyway, it's basically potatoes, sausages, leek, and various other things like bacon and cheese. Bake it in the oven, fantastic. So this is how I make it. I dug up all these spuds today, more than that, from my garden, so I thought I'd use them. So you want to probably make roughly 1 kilo spuds. Slice them into rings, probably about 10 mil. Put them in the bottom of a casserole dish. Normally I peel the spuds, but in this case, because they're not that big, like they're not really commercial size, so can't be bothered. They should be alright. Nice fresh spuds. I only dug them up today, right? So can't get fresher than that. So just keep chopping them into rings until you fill the bottom of your casserole dish. I don't normally weigh the spuds before I do this. I just keep reaching for more when I need them. So I'm not certain of exactly how much it's going to be by weight, but I know it's going to be roughly 1 kilo. Might be a bit less. Yeah, I think it'll be a bit less. A little bit less. I'll use up this one. This one is one with the fork caught it when I was digging through the veggie patch. The fork caught it. Anyway, I just washed them and brought them in, and now I'm ready to go. Well, there you go, there's a layer. So you're definitely less than 1 kilo. There's a layer. Now what we do is we put a diced leek on top. So get rid of the really dark green, this dark emerald, more or less malachite, I suppose. Malachite green. The end off. Now the thing about leeks, if you've ever used leeks, and who hasn't used leeks? Fantastic dish. National vegetable of Wales. So the white bit is always clean and easy. So you just cut the white bit off yourself, and you don't have to worry about it too much. Just dice it up. Dice it up, throw it in the pot. The green bit is the bit that's can be a bit dubious. You just kind of crunch it up a bit so that they all spread out and don't stay in their little rings, their little discs. Spread it around. Easy, easy. Now we're going to have a look at the green bit. Now the thing about the green bit, if you've ever grown leeks by the way, you'll know what I'm talking about. The green bit has always got dirt in it, always. So the way to clean it, you can see there's little bits of dirt around the rim there. There's pretty much always dirt. So there's a good example, dirt. So if you don't want too much of the dark green, so we just cut off most of it. I mean, you can put some in, it's not poisonous or anything. Maybe just a little bit in. But you don't want to overdo the dark green. Now what you do is you wash each individual section. So I'll just wash that, for example. Just rinse it off. I mean, you don't want grit. You don't want grit in your leeks. You don't want grit in food, full stop. This is the problem with picnics at the beach. Or it can be. Yeah, so just wash off the danger bits. I mean, rinse the whole thing. I might just give that chopping board a rinse too while I'm at it. There's just very, very fine amounts of dirt, very small amounts of dirt left on the spuds. I'm sure you're all saying, oh, you know, why the hell doesn't he why can't he have a camera over by the sink so we can see what he's doing? Well, that'd be nice, but I'm afraid this is a one-man operation. And I can't be operating the camera while I'm cooking food, while I'm preparing food. I can't do it. It's just beyond my limitations. And you know, a man's got to know his limitations. So I just had to make do with one camera, and I know it would be nice to zoom in on the food and everything, but again, I just can't really do it. If I had an assistant photographer, that would be good. I haven't. Alright, so we've got all this bit more dark green part of the leek, put that in as well. All good. Leek is a wonderful vegetable, and of course fantastic with potato. Now, here's the meat. Now these are leftover sausages. I use sausages that I've already cooked from the night before. So last night I cooked sausages, had too many, so this is a good way to use them up. So just do 3. Yeah. Roughly 3 sausages. I mean, you can have more if you want more sausages, go for it. If you want less, well, you wouldn't go less. I'll see how this goes. I mean, they're thin sausages, so I do have one more here that I can use. This is just a great peasant dish, you know. Use up. I invented it because that's what I had stuff that was lying around, leftover sausages. And thought, well, what am I going to do with them? And I've got all these spuds. What am I going to do with them? And I thought, well, why don't I put them all in a pot and eat them? Cook them up and eat them. And so it was, the recipe was born. Actually, looking at that, I think I do want the other one. So 4 sausages. These are beef sausages, just ordinary butcher's beef sausages. Sad to say, it's very hard to get a good sausage in Australia these days. Like if you go to a supermarket, you basically can't get a good sausage. They'll tell you they're good sausages, but they bloody aren't. They are garbage. It's very sad. I mean, in the old days, when I was a kid, all sausages were good. Not anymore. Those days are gone. I don't know what they do to them, but they're no good. So let's just crush and chop some garlic. And you can't believe the cost of sausages these days. I bought these snags from the butchers. They're just their ordinary sausages. $20 a kilo. Excuse me, $20 a kilo for a sausage? What the hell? Ever heard of poor man's food? Poor man's food. When I was a kid, just going back a bit, but I still remember when I was a kid, lamb was poor man's food, right? You could buy, now even the poorest family could have, pretty much anyone with a job could afford a lamb roast once a week. A Sunday roast, you know, it was a tradition. And even the poor people could do it. But, you know, not so cheap anymore. And of course, and lamb shanks used to be poor man's food and pet food. Nobody wanted them. You know, a shank could cost you bugger all. If you were one of the very few people that wanted to cook them, which I'm not, by the way, but my mother used to like cooking them. So I put some garlic in. Like that. Try to make sure it's spread around. Got to spread it around because it's not really going to move. This is a stationary dish. Stationary. Alright. And you want some butter? I mean, you know, leek, potato and butter. Marriage made in heaven. So, you know, moderate amount of butter. You don't have to go too mad, but you do need a bit. Like, you know, a few tablespoons of butter at this point. And then we'll put a bit more in at the end, at the top, on the top. Helps to stop it sticking too. That's probably enough. Butter. Butter, garlic, leek. I mean, great combination. I'll just wash the buttery fingers. Wash the buttery fingers in hot water, get rid of the fat. Or most of it anyway. Alright. Let's put some pepper on. Hard to get a good pepper grinder too. Most of the pepper grinders you try out are second rate, they're just no good. I don't know why that is. I mean, they're not new. People have been making pepper grinders for what? Hundreds of years? Certainly for 100 years. Easily for 100 years, right? And they haven't changed the design, they just got worse at making them. They got worse instead of better. Mind you, they had the design perfect, so they're really good ones, you can't get better. Right, bit of oregano. This is oregano I grew in the garden. I mean, it's optional. Don't put it in if you don't want. Doesn't worry me. Alright, some carrots. Haven't opened them yet. Carrots. So you just want to cover it in a layer of carrots. It's a multi-layered casserole, basically. Multi-layered casserole. So you want discs of carrot. I don't know, probably a little bit thinner than the discs of potato. A bit. One of the things you've got to watch out for in this recipe is you don't want it too fat, or you won't get the lid on your casserole dish. And that won't be good. So you just keep piling on the carrots until you've covered it, which is going to take more, at least two big carrots, or you know, a larger number of smaller carrots. I don't bother peeling carrots. Why would you? It's just not worth it. Try, if you're used to peeling carrots, try cooking without peeling them and see if you can tell the difference. I reckon you'll be struggling to tell the difference, personally. Carrots in. I need another one. Other one. Little wheels, they keep rolling away. They're a pest like that. Bit of a pest. I mean, you could cut the carrot in half lengthways and then they wouldn't roll, I suppose. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I should do that. Anyway, I think I've got too much now, so that'll be alright. I'll just put in what I've got. Nice coverage of carrots. Good solid layer of carrots. Push it down. Right. And then we finish it off. I might put some salt actually. Normally I don't really put salt in, but then always needs a bit at the end. I don't know. You don't want to put too much salt. I guess the butter's got a bit of salt. No, not sure what else has got salt. So another layer of spuds on the top, and you're done for the moment. So because it's quite thick, I'll just make the last layer of spuds pretty thin. Otherwise, I won't get the lid on. These are King Edwards. I didn't even plant them. They just came up. Because of course I have used the veggie patch for growing spuds for years, so it tends to get, once you've planted spuds once, they tend to, you never find them all, and they tend to just come up. So in this case they came up like unbelievable. The whole veggie patch full of them. In fact, they were so bad they became a weed. Which is why some people call them the lazy weed. Because you can be lazy and just do nothing and they'll come up. And they'll grow. And then you can eat them. I mean, what could be better than that? If you're a lazy gardener like I am. I'm definitely a lazy gardener. I do not get out there every day. I only get out there when I really have to, and I just take it easy. I try to find ways to avoid having to do a lot of work. So, for instance, I don't plant vegetables that require a lot of work, like constant weeding. I don't plant them. Things like carrots. No, carrots need to be weeded all the time. Can't be bothered, mate. So I just won't plant them. Just don't even bother. Alright. Push it down. Now you put some butter on top. What happens when you put the lid on the casserole dish, the potatoes will stick to the lid. This will help to stop them from sticking to the lid. Plus you want a little bit more butter on your spuds anyway. And it's like mashed potato, you know. Mashed potato without butter, hopeless. You've got to have butter on your mashed spud. You always need some sort of fat with spuds because they soak up the fat and they give a lot more flavour to the spuds. Well, if you just eat spuds on their own, they're rather bland. So what you want to do is put some fat on them. Whether it's like if you're roasting potatoes, you want basting fat from the pan, from the meat. That's why roast potatoes are so damn good. you've got all that. And basting fat goes into it. Something's a bit too much, like if you're cooking something like duck or pork, it's just way too much fat. Right, lid on. And ideally it'll be airtight. It's not really going to be, but as it cooks, it'll cook down a bit. Right. The oven set for 200 degrees. And cook it for an hour. Initially, give it an hour, and that'll get the veggies hot and mostly cooked, but not completely cooked. And we'll finish the job by putting stuff on the top. But we need to get it mostly cooked for a start. Sorry I can't talk properly. I shouldn't have eaten that bloody carrot. Alright. As you can see, too many spuds. So you probably want about 700 grams of spud. A kilo, definitely too much. Alright. So, an hour in the oven. And we'll come back then. Okay, an hour has gone past, so it's time to cut up some bacon. Just dice some bacon. We don't need too much fat because we put so much butter in. I mean, you could probably put a bit less butter and a bit more bacon if you prefer the taste of bacon fat. It's all good. Now we want to put about two or three rashers of bacon here. 2 or 3. So I think we're in the kind of mood where we might have 3. Especially because those two were a bit on the small side, not quite the full rasher. So what have we got here? Got 3 here, so we'll just take 2 out. There we go. And if you're really a big fan of bacon, and who isn't, you can just always put 3 in. Whatever you want. I mean, the beauty of dishes like this is they're pretty flexible. Bit more of this, bit less of that. It's not really going to have any effect, any great effect. I mean, you're not going to wreck the dish or anything, which is very different to what happens with desserts, or something like pastry where the quantities are really critical. It's just a casserole, not critical at all. Absolutely not critical. So, wash the bacon fat off my hands a bit. I don't know why. Not sure why, because I'm just going to be touching the bacon again in a sec. Let's pull it out of the oven and I'll put the bacon on. Now, I know from experience that, there you go, you can see there's a couple of the spuds at the top sticking to the lid. That one's completely stuck to the lid. Right. That's very common, that normally happens. It's alright. I was expecting it, not a problem. So now we just cover the top with bacon. Yes, it's already hot. I mean, I can smell the spuds. They already smell like roasting spuds. There is, just sprinkle the bacon on. I mean, you can be a bit anal about it if you want to, or you can just not worry. Ideally you want to get it evenly across it, but you know, at the end of the day, depends how much you can be bothered, how much of a perfectionist you really are. I like to think I'm not too much of a perfectionist, although it depends. I mean, in some things like music, I'm an absolute perfectionist, and in cooking I want it to be right, but it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect all the time. It's not. See, the beauty of music, if you're creating music, it's a lot of work to get it if you're writing music, it's a lot of work to get it to the stage where it can be performed. But once you've got it to that stage, the job's done, and every time it's performed, someone else is doing the work, not you. Which is great, because you can move on, and every time it's done, if it's done properly, it'll be magnificent. But when you're cooking, every time you do it, you've got to put the work in every bloody time. So when you're cooking, you don't want to be too perfect, because you're going to have to do all that extra work. So just get it out the door, in the oven, get it good enough. This is my personal philosophy, get it good enough. Don't kill yourself trying to achieve perfection that's just going to be eaten. Ha ha ha. So it's not a competition. You're just cooking for yourself and your family and your friends, whatever. Just make it good enough. I mean, you don't want to turn yourself off cooking by trying too hard, and you don't want to, on the other hand, you don't want to turn yourself off cooking by doing a shit job. So you want to do a good job that's not too hard on yourself. My philosophy. Alright, I'll have a beer and I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Okay, that time's gone past. So, as you can see, the bacon has cooked along nicely in that time. Very good. Now put some cheese on. I'll just get the knife and chopping board off the drainer. Right. I'm the kind of guy that loves cheese, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, you know. So we just cut slices of cheese, enough to cover the whole thing. And cheese and bacon they just make it at the end, you know. They're the thing that really makes this dish in the end. They give it that little bit of extra something, you know. Extra savoury, extra tasty. And it's already tasty because of all the potato and leek and whatever. But the extra, just that extra bit of, you know, the bacon and the cheese, they just make it at the end. And when you serve it up, and you're serving it up for yourself, of course you're going to want the bit with, you're going to want to make sure that you get some of the bit with the bacon and cheese. So if you're serving up for a family, make sure everyone gets some bacon and cheese. No one misses out. That's the name of the game. No one misses out. Now we just try to cover the whole thing with cheese. That's pretty good. What have we got in there? A little bit. Maybe a tiny bit more. Because I want a bit. This is is extra tasty. Not bad. I mean, tasty cheese is normally pretty good. I.e. cheddar. Normally pretty good. Actually, don't even need the lid. Pop it in. Pop it in. The cheese will melt. It'll all bubbly, and when it's properly melted, and not just melted, but you want it to have a bit of bubble in it, you know, go a bit beyond just being melted. When that's done, the dish is done, you can eat. So we'll be back. I'll get back, I don't know, another 15 minutes. We'll be back then to eat. Okay, the dish is now well and truly cooked. I actually went past the quarter hour there because I was in the middle of a Hearthstone game. Bloody control decks. Take forever to finish. So, I guess this casserole has been cooking for at least an hour and 3/4. Look at that, steam comes off, beautiful. So, I'm just doing my steaming and frying zucchini technique. I'll have that as a side dish. Alright, so here's the main thing. Yeah, look at that. The spoon goes through the potato, no worries. Now when I was making this, some of you might have thought, well, how's it going to cook? There's not enough, there's no liquid. But you know, there's a lot of liquid in potato. Quite a lot. So it's actually plenty of liquid in there. Trust me, plenty there. Look at that. So there we go, we've got all the potato, we've got the sausage, we've got the carrot, got the garlic, got the cheese, got the bacon. Magnificent. So have a little taste. Steaming, so yeah, it's hot. It's hot. Carrot's soft, potato's soft. So I've got a bit of sausage, bit of carrot, bit of potato. Got some zucchini too, look at that. Oh, fresh out of the garden. Yet another opportunity to use up some of that leftover zucchini. Some of that zucchini that you can't eat because you've got too much bloody zucchini, because I've got I planted 3 zucchini plants. There's more than you need. 2 is probably enough. But unless you've got a family, decent family, which I don't have, so I don't need the extra. But they keep coming. They keep coming, so I keep trying to eat them. Look at that. That's a nice bit of cheese. You know, when you cook cheese, it's funny what happens to the cheese. It goes past the point of being at the point where it's like it was when it was cold, you know. It goes past that point into some other point, which is the mystery of cooked cheese. Once it goes past that point into the cooked point, it tastes completely different. Anyway, let's have a taste of this. I don't know, normally, did I not put enough butter in this? I thought I put enough butter. Maybe I should have put a bit more. Seems a little bit light on butter compared to what it normally is. And maybe a bit more garlic might have been good. Let's have another taste. And I put 2 saltspoons of salt in. But I think I could use a little bit more. So I don't know, it's a bit weird. That's cooking, eh? Like what you do one day, it's not always exactly the same the next day. Sometimes it's a bit different. Try this one's got a bit of bacon stuck to it. Definitely, of course, the top bits, the bits with the bacon and cheese are always the best. That's good. Could have gone a bit more butter in this particular version. I mean, normally there's plenty of butter, but maybe I should just have added a little bit more. I don't know, because I didn't really measure out the butter in precise amounts. But I mean, it's still good. Like, it's still the taste of the potato. It tastes like potato, you know, and the carrot tastes like carrot, and cheese and bacon tastes like cheese and bacon, and the sausage tastes like sausage, and the leek is the mystery ingredient, kind of sits in the background that kind of holds it all together. Fantastic. Anyway, that's it. Classic dish, my famous sausage and potato casserole. So I recommend you make it yourself. Just got to use up some decent sausages. Use good sausages from the butcher, or if your supermarket does actually have good sausages, you can use those. Good luck. Anyway, I'm going to be eating this. See you later.